Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Beulah Fashion. Thank you for stopping by. In today's video, we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful dress, and I'm going to be laying more emphasis on the neckline, how you are going to draft this neckline, how you are going to cut out this neckline, and how you are going to sew it. So make sure you watch this video to the end because it is going to be very detailed and beginner friendly. I'm going to be making the full dress, but I'm going to be paying more attention to the neckline. So let's get started, guys. So as you can see, I already have my princess dart padded. I'm going to be using a princess dart bustier padded cotton pattern. I mean the pattern for this dress. So if you want to know how to cut out this princess dart bustier, just check out my other videos on the channel. I have a very detailed tutorial on it. So I've cut it out right now. What I'm doing is to sellotape it together because we want to cut the neckline. I'm going to join them together with a sellotape. So that is what I'm actually doing at the moment. After joining them with a sellotape, then we move to our neckline. As you can see in
make
the
sure
video,
you take your time
to arrange it properly. So I'm going to start from the top. How I'm doing mine, I'm arranging it properly. Make sure you arrange it properly. So I'm going to be marking from the neck, from that neck right now. I'm going to be coming down by 4 inches, and I put a dot right there. Can you see? I'm going to use my ruler to draw a straight line down to that point I have made. I came down by 4 inches. The next thing I'll be doing right now is to connect it with a dot to the armhole area. I'm connecting it with a dot to the armhole area. Can you see what I'm doing right now? Just to the armhole. Then I'm going to come to the second part of my neck. I'm coming to the second part of my neck and also connect a dot towards to join it to that other side. I had to shift the table so that we can see the full picture of what I'm actually doing. We are going to join it right now with the dot. Can you see? To meet that other side. To meet the other side I have joined with the armhole. Can you see what I did? Then the next thing is for me to cut it out. For me to cut them out. I'm trying to check. I don't want it to be too deep. It depends on how you want it to be deep. I don't want it to be too deep. I want it to be modest so that it won't be showing the bust of the client. But it depends on what your client actually wants. Maybe when you are taking the measurement, you ask the client that where do you want it to get to, then you measure it. So I just try to confirm with the use of the tape rule. The next thing I'm going to do is just to cut it out. That's all. I'm going to cut it out. Then the other place that I used, all those places that I gum with a sellotape, I'm going to open them into 3 parts with a pair of scissors. I'm not going to be losing the sellotape because it can, it's a paper, it can tear the paper. So I'm just going to open them up with a pair of scissors. Just keep watching what I'm doing, guys. You get to understand it better. Just keep watching. So what I'm doing right now is to cut it out. Meanwhile, the back of this dress depends on what you want. Me, I just use a high back, like the normal back pattern with 1.5 neck depth. That was what I just used for the back. But if you like, you can use whatever you like for the back of the dress. So that's why I'm not really showing the back. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So the next thing I'm going to do is to place it on my fabric and cut. As you can see, I'm cutting and I'm adding 1/2 inch sewing allowance, most especially to the inner part, like to where I'm going to be joining the padded, the neck and all of that. Just keep watching, guys. I'm adding 1/2 inch allowance to the sides and where I'm going to be joining. You may not really need to add to the length because you've added to your length before when you were drafting your pattern, but from other sides you can decide to add. So that's what I'm basically doing, guys. So the next thing I'm going to be doing right now is to add my wording to the fabrics. So that's what you can see right now. I'm adding my wording, but at the neck area, just make sure you come down by half an inch so that you'll not be sewing your wording together with the material. Just come down by half an inch. So this is what I have here. I've gone ahead to join my wording to the fabric and iron it, and I've gone ahead to join the 3 pieces together with half an inch. I'm going to go right now, open it and iron it properly. Can you see that our neck is already forming? Can you see? I've gone ahead to join my wording to my under bust. That was where the wording stopped at. Just keep following, guys. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to. And I've also gone ahead to cut out my lining and also join my linings together, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do is to join my lining to the fabric, right side facing right side. I'm going to be starting with the neck. First of all, I'm going to be starting with the neck with half an inch sewing allowance, and thereafter I'm going to iron it and sew in the 2 sides as well. The next thing I'm going to be doing right now is to move to the down part, the skirt part of the gown. It's going to be a pencil gown actually. So I have my fabric here. I'm going to measure my waist. First of all, I measure my length. I added my allowance to it. After measuring my length, I added like 2 inches allowance because I'm going to be turning it in with the lining. I will turn like 1.5 inch inside with the lining. So that was why I added 2 inches sewing allowance. After that, I'm going to measure my waist and add my allowance. I like to add 3 inches allowance to my waist. It depends on your choice, because after the dart intake, I want to have at least 2 inches or enough fabric left. That's why most times I use 3 inches for the waist. After measuring my waist, I move to my hip. Always remember that from your waist to your hip is always 9 inches. So I'll measure 9 inches from my waist down to my hip. Then I'll take my hip measurement and add my sewing allowance as well. I added 2.5 inch sewing allowance. The next thing that I'm going to be doing is to go down and make the gown pencil, to make the down of the skirt pencil. So I'm just going to measure my hip measurement divided by 4 without adding any allowance. That's what I'm going to be using for the under, and then I'll cut it out. After cutting out my front, I'm going to place my front on the back and add my zipper allowance. I'm going to be adding 1.5 inch zipper allowance to it, to the back. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my lining. After cutting out my lining, I'm going to be placing my lining and my fabric right side facing right side. Right side should be facing right side, remember. Then you join your lining to the fabric. I used to like to sew this. If I'm making a gown, I like making the skirt part first. I'm going to make sure I complete the skirt part first. After completing the skirt part, taking my measurements and everything, I will complete the upper part again too. I'm going to take my measurement, I'm going to sew my measurement, then I will join it like a top and a blouse. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm going to join it like a blouse and a skirt in a circular form, the way we used to join our gathers dress to the top. So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's how I like to do mine. Then the next thing that I'm going to be doing is to cut out my sleeve. I have a detailed video on my channel as well, a step-by-step guide on how to draft out your sleeve pattern, so that whenever you have a cloth that has a sleeve, be it long sleeve, short sleeve, 3/4 sleeve, you just pick up your pattern and place it on the fabric and add your allowance, just as I'm doing right now. So I have pattern paper here placed on the fabric, and I'm going to be cutting it out. After that, I'm going to join all the pieces together, my sleeve, my skirt and the upper part of my fabric. I'm going to add my zip, and I think that's basically all for the style. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you learned one or two things. Please check out my other videos on the channel, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching my videos, and see you in my next video. Bye.